Let's open up with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father God, we are so thankful that you give us the opportunity to be able to come together and to do so, Lord, on purpose and for a reason. Our first purpose always to be that which would honor you. But Lord, we also come together knowing that you have designed and you have put into place and established the governments that we have. And Lord, we are so blessed to live in this country where those governments are run by those who represent the people. And so tonight, we ask that there would be the opportunity for us to get to know those that have been called and have answered the call to represent, to say that they're the ones that they believe are the ones that God would call them to a position to represent what is best for our communities, for our kids, for our state, for our nation. And so, Lord, we ask that you would just be honored in all that takes place this evening, Lord, as we go before you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'd like to introduce to you decorated Vietnam veteran James Smiley is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand, face the flag?
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please place the flag of our nation? Attention! Present arms! I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order! Arms! Thank you all. God bless.
At this point in time, I'd like to introduce to you our moderator for the evening, Jim Davis. Jim Davis is going to take and going to be the one that's going to control the chaos. So, Jim, you got it, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pastor Gary. A few words of introduction here about the background of our event and how we came to have these candidates here and not some others. We reached out or attempted to reach out to all candidates that are running in races pertinent to this area. Some contact information couldn't be found despite searching for it. Others we contacted and they didn't reply, or some replied and said that they wouldn't be able to make it. So I wanted to let everyone know that our intent was to have as many as possible and cast a wide net. We have an update since the printing of the program that you have, and that program looks like this. We've had two candidates from the congressional race that are not here. One, well, I've got to improvise here a little bit. Josh Hebert is here, Josh, but he has suspended his campaign and is endorsing another candidate. Another candidate, Kathy Durham, sends her regrets. She lives on the other side of the state and has a pressing schedule and is not able to make it tonight's event. In addition, we have Mike Smith that is actually with us here tonight, although he's shown in your program as additional candidates on the ballot. But we're glad that he was able to attend tonight after all. Hopefully you've received a program at the door, and that consists of several things. It looks like this, and inside you'll find a red card for questions. If you did not give the opportunity to write a question or other suggestions on this card, you can still do that and leave it with the candidate at their table. And if you want them to contact you back, please put your contact information on that. We have collected some other cards with questions that might be posed to the candidates as we move through the evening here. Let's see. This large page is formatted, though it's in the identical order as you see on your ballot. So we're using the same sequence here, the order of the offices and the order of the candidates. So that way, if you do take notes in the note places here, you'll be able to directly correlate this to what's on your sample ballot and what will be on your official ballot in a few weeks. The way Nevada election processes work is that some races don't appear on the primary ballot, but take heart, they will be on the general ballot. So there's a number of candidates here you might have seen in our meet and greet whose office is on the general ballot that won't be on stage answering questions, but perhaps at a future event, maybe in September or so, we'll be having a similar event to this for those offices on that ballot. Turn to page 2. You should have received the sample ballot that I alluded to earlier. Looks like this. And if you're registered with a party, you'll only see candidates of your party when you actually get your real ballot. They're all listed on this ballot, the sample ballot, but your real ballot will only have the candidates in your party. If you're registered unaffiliated, in the primary, you'll only see nonpartisan offices. Examples are school board. Those are elected not with a party affiliation. On the back of the program booklet here, you'll see a QR code at the top, which you can scan with your phone's camera, and press the yellow button, and you'll go to the website of the Nevada Secretary of State, where you can put in some identifying information and confirm what your registration status is. Lately, the way the DMV has been operating, they've not been as reliable as they used to be, so you might have registered one way, and you might find by following this link that you're actually not registered that way. So I would encourage you to use that link. Also, putting on this event here tonight is one of the many ministries of Calvary Chapel Dayton Valley, our Community Impact Northern Nevada, that I am happy to volunteer for. At the bottom of the page are another couple QR codes. One leads to the website for Community Impact Northern Nevada, and the other one leads to our Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, you can follow that link and choose to follow our account and get some updated news and information that we publish that way. About the format tonight, we definitely have some time constraints. We're happy to have so many candidates, but that means we have a narrow time frame to kind of adhere to. Each candidate will have a total of 3 minutes. They'll be asked within that 3 minutes to make some introductory remarks, and we're asking that included in those introductory remarks include what their top 2 priorities are if elected, and why the voters would be making the selection for them as the voter's best choice. Next, after that, there'll be 2 questions that are race specific. So for instance, congressional race will have a set of questions, and they'll have the next 2 minutes to answer those questions. Candidates will notice timers in the front row with signs. Red, yellow, or green. You'll start with green, work your way to red, and we need to finish at that 3-minute mark. We appreciate that very much. Also, for those voters and others in the audience, I want to make certain that we set a very respectful tone here and an atmosphere that everybody can enjoy being at. We want to ask that you hold applause for candidates until after they're done speaking. Don't interrupt them with applause. And refrain from any cheers or boos. That's not the kind of atmosphere that we want to set up here. And now, if everyone can pull out their cell phone, do a selfie here, and then silence your cell phone. That would be very, very appreciative to silence your cell phone. I'm going to do that right now, because actually mine is not on silent. And now it is. And so, with that, our first set of questions will be for U.S. Congressional District Nevada number 2. We have one candidate here on the Democratic primary ballot and 7 appearing for the Republican primary ballot. We'll ask that after remarks about the top priorities, that each candidate answer the same 2 questions. And for this congressional race, the first question is, the Save America Act has been in much debate in Washington over the past few months and would require both proof of citizenship and photo ID in order to vote. If legislation requiring proof of citizenship and photo ID were to come up in your time in Congress, would you support this measure and why? The second question is, some localities in America have been attempting to pass certain religious laws commonly known as Sharia law. Do you see Sharia law as contrary to the U.S. Constitution? And if so, what would you do to protect America from its implementation? First up, we have candidate Greg Kidd. There. Oh, one more word. You'll have a moment to adjust the mic and put it where you want. And when you take your hands away from the mic, that's when it'll go live. The top 2, and then the 2 questions, you have 3 minutes.
Hey folks, thanks. It was really lonely in 2024. It was just Mark and me. Now we have 27 candidates, so totally different race, and great to see this hall filled. Just my background, I've worked as a teacher. I worked as for Outward Bound in the National Outdoor Leadership School. I worked for the Death Star, which is the Federal Reserve, and I've spent some time in the tech world. So, on to the first question. The 2 top things that I would emphasize. I am from the Federal Reserve, so I am looking for fiscal responsibility. Both the Democrats and the Republicans have done a terrible job in this. We're at $40 trillion that we're going to leave to the next generation. That's a tremendous problem. If we're cutting taxes and we're not cutting expenses, we're just building a time bomb. So, number 1 priority for me, fiscal responsibility. Number 2 is in healthcare. I'm going to say something that sounds kind of liberal or progressive, but I've lived in a lot of other countries where healthcare is not a left or right, conservative or liberal issue. Again, it's an issue of economics, and those countries don't have the insurance companies in the mix. They have a payment system that just is direct doctors, nurses, technicians, and there's a single payer. You can still have private insurance, but you don't have claims, you don't have insurance. The next closest country, the most expensive country in the world to us, is Switzerland, and they pay 50% less. So I would cut a grand bargain between Republicans and Democrats that said, currently we spend 18.5% on health care. I'd say if we agree to a cap at, say, 16%, can we eliminate the insurance companies from the mix and go to a different way of paying where money is not involved in each healthcare transaction? So those are the 2 issues. On the SAVE Act, or SAFE Act, I am really surprised that the U.S. is at this point. I have worked and lived in a lot of countries that have all sorts of issues with voting. And there are some very corrupt countries. They have all sorts of problems with voting. Places like India and Brazil. They would laugh at us if all we used was a driver's license and a birth certificate. Those are very easy to forge. The fact that we don't have biometric solutions when the rest of the world has already moved there, and not just for voting, but for immigration, guest workers, for everything, seems crazy to me. This solution doesn't go far enough. It's like a 1970s answer. The second area, Sharia law. Come on, guys, First Amendment. That's not going to go anywhere. I trust the Supreme Court to put that where it is, in the garbage heap. Separation of church and state, done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up for introductory remarks and the 2 questions, candidate David Flippo.
How y'all doing today? Pastor Gary, you here? Thanks for having us. Community Impact Team, thank you. I'm David Flippo. I'm running for Congress in Congressional District 2. And why is that important, and why are my 2 top priorities? We have to deport the criminally illegal aliens. We have to get accountability of what's in this country, and that's my number 1. Energy independence is number 2. Energy and both of these issues affect Northern Nevada. The energy cost that we have right now is astronomical. We need to get that under control. We are an energy independent country. And deporting the criminal illegals is going to help with housing affordability that's impacting all of us right now. Why am I the best candidate? I served in the military. I was raised in the military. I've grown up all over the world. My family served in the Revolutionary War. My family's always been a family of service. And I plan to continue to serve you as your next congressman. And that's important to me. I am married 43 years to my high school sweetheart. We have 2 boys and 5 grandchildren. They are important to me, and the future of this country is important to me. I am endorsed by Turning Point USA Action. I am endorsed by CPAC. I am endorsed by the Freedom Caucus. I am endorsed by the conservative movement in this country because they want to see CD2 to go more conservative. They want a conservative representation in DC. And that's what's important. So we have to take care of those things. As far as the 2 issues here, citizenship, the Save America Act, we must pass it. It's sad that we have to pass it because it's already in the Constitution that you have to be a citizen to vote, right? But we have to have it. We have to have proof that you are a citizen. However that proof has to be done, has to happen. And we need to support President Trump and his agenda on that. The other one is Sharia law. We cannot allow Sharia law. This is not a First Amendment issue. Sharia law would take our rights. Counties, cities, whoever implements Sharia law is what's happening in Paris and London right now. There are parts of those cities that the police cannot go into. That's what Sharia law is. It's not about freedom of religion. It's about allowing Sharia law. So those are the things that are important. We have to stop those, and we need to deport criminal illegals. We need to have energy independence in this country. Thank you. I'm David Flippo. Vote for me, Flippo for Nevada. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next up in this race, candidate George Forbush.
Hello, everyone. My name is George Forbush. I'm running for Congress, District 2. I am a retired Sparks police officer. I have 27 years of service under my belt. And a little bit about me, I was born and raised here in Northern Nevada. I have a wife that I've been married to for 27 years. I have 3 children and a grandchild. So just a little bit about me personally. My 2 top priorities is, 1, fuel. I've talked to a couple of members out in the hall, and I want to bring a pipeline from Utah to Nevada so that way we can have a diverse way of getting our fuel and get away from California in case something were to happen with the pipeline where we are getting our fuel now. I think it's very important that we do that. We can make it happen. There's already a plan in place. We just need the federal government and the state to work together and make that happen. Another thing that's important to me is law enforcement. I want to be able to give law enforcement the tools that they need. We need more cops out there. They are short, they are understaffed, they are burnt out, and we need more police officers out there. And I want a portion of those police officers to be able to work sex crimes because you turn on the news today, every day you see more sex offenses every single day, and we need more people in jail doing those types of acts, and we need more cops out there. So that's very important to me. As far as the question on the Save America Act, I think it's ridiculous that you don't have to show an ID. You go to a motel, they won't even let you check in if you don't have an ID. So it's a no-brainer to me, and I honestly think that you should be able to have that ID. It should go back a little bit. I'll take it one step further, where you should have that to go get a driver's license to make the system work so much easier, to be honest with you. So I think we can improve on that. And as far as Sharia law, I will tell you that I would not support that. I do not believe that should be incorporated because it does not make sense to me that we would give people a constitutional right to kill the infidel if that's what their teaching tells them. We would literally be telling them they have a constitutional right to do that, and our, the founders never thought that would happen. So I would be opposed to that. I would ask you for a lot of the other issues that are out there, please go to my website. It's forbushforcongress.com. Go to Facebook. I try to be as detailed as I possibly can on the issues. It's very difficult to do that within 3 minutes, and now I have 15 seconds, so I'll leave it there. So I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our next candidate to hear. Hello? Our next candidate that will be addressing this is Rick Shepard.
Is this working? Okay. All right, we're good to go. Hi, my name is Rick Shepard. I'm running for Congress. You can find out more about me at rickshepard.com. I'll be real quick on the intro because basically my background isn't that important. It's what we're going to do. Short answer is I'm the product of a 14-year-old runaway and an 18-year-old draftee living illegally in a foreign country to avoid a war. I was adopted when I was 2. When I was 15, I doctored my birth certificate to make myself 16 so I could get my first job at the Rayleighs in Golden Valley. Got a degree from UNR, then went back to become an adjunct professor at UNR, started my own IT company, did that for a couple of decades, but that's enough about me because that's not what matters. What matters is what we're going to do. The two most important things on my list are related. First and foremost is the discharge of the Epstein files. We have got to get a perp walk of the Epstein class and get these people held accountable. We will never be free of the tyranny that's above us until we hold these people that are mutually blackmailed to account. Related to that, I am AZAPAC endorsed, means I'm anti-Zionist. I oppose any support that we provide to foreign nations, particularly Israel. I am America first, exclusively America. That means no money, no weapons, no support for anyone, anywhere until we fix our problems. Now, let's address the two questions. So the first question is about the Save America Act, and you can tell by the answers that you've received that no one has read this. It's 27 pages. It's not that hard. And the fact is, it does a terrible job. I'm a strict constitutionalist, and the Constitution clearly lays out how elections are handled. Your Secretary of State and the respective states are responsible for your elections. This bill will make it so that the Secretary of State's power is removed, the state is disempowered, control and authority is rendered up to the federal government, and the burden is put upon you to produce documentation because your driver's license isn't going to be adequate. There are only 5 real ID states in this country that have identification that stands up to this proposed legislation. So it is unconstitutional, it is onerous to the electorate, and it is a power grab from the government. And I think that if you read it, you will appreciate that this is a bad legislation that has been presented to you through fear-mongering to get you to do the wrong thing against your own best interest. Now, as to Sharia law, your legislators pass laws. When they propose legislation, you either oppose it or you support it. It doesn't matter why they proposed it. There's no such thing as good or bad ideas because of a religion. Your religion is your own and it's separate. We separate that. You don't have to worry about Sharia law. Islamophobia. It's a fear-mongering. It is a way to make you feel like there are others, and they're not others. Your legislators will produce legislation irrespective of their religion, and you will either support it or you will oppose it. And it doesn't matter where they practice their faith or what faith they have. That's what the Constitution guarantees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is candidate Mike Smith. Fred Simon. Thank you very much for the help.
Hi, everybody. Glad you're here. I'm Dr. Fred Simon. Why am I here? What are my qualifications? I ran a major trauma center, flagship hospital, many employees, big budget for years. Healthcare is a big issue. I own 7 small businesses, including automobiles, from golf carts. Now I own jacuzzis and patio furniture. I do everything. Busiest medical legal expert in the country in general surgery and trauma. 42 states, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the islands in the Caribbean. Started with 1 case. Done 1,200. Never advertised. All word of mouth. I've been out in the communities, the black community, Hispanic community, for years. I know America. Trauma is the window to everybody. What are my first 2 biggest issues? Budget is always the big issue, but for our district, health care. Private insurance last year made $1.2 trillion net profits. And what did you get? As Lombardo says, healthcare in Nevada sucks, and it does. There isn't any candidate running in the United States or who is in the Senate and the Congress right now, I'd like to be humble, that knows more than I do. I've been all over the country. I've consulted with the trauma system in Las Vegas, Denver, Colorado Springs, South Dakota, and it goes on. And I've been doing this for 35 years. We can fix it. But if you don't have your health, what do you have in life? So that's got to be a priority. My second priority are teenagers. 1 in 5 teenagers, that doesn't have mild, not moderate, severe mental disability. Things have changed in the last decade. We got to worry about them for vaccines, we got to worry about them from their mental health, and we got to worry about them from their education. My wife was on the school board for 8 years. I've testified in 20 different school boards in this state. We can fix it, and we do that by, there's a template. Just take Mississippi. They were worst in the country. They're now number 9. It's not rocket science. People don't want to do it. You need a leader. Let's address these 2 issues. ID voting, I will tell you, I practice in 39 communities, in all small rural communities in the country. People are able to get ID voting, okay? Whatever people say against this, they don't know what they're talking about. It's all ideologic. It's political. Sharia law, grandfather Syrian, my grandmother's Lebanese. They grew up in the largest Arabic part of the country, which is Michigan. They want to be secularized, okay? You cannot have that. In Hamtramck right now, every day, the bells for the Muslims go off. You either assimilate or you get the hell out of here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, this time we really have Mike Smith.
Good evening. I have to look around for a second when people, they hear my name, and I'm looking to see if you're thinking, is that his real name? Yes, it is. It's my real name. I'm running for Congress, Congressional District 2, and my name is Mike Smith. As a matter of background, I'm not a politician. I've never ran for political office. I spent, the only time I spent serving was 30 years in the Navy, both on active duty and as reserves. I graduated from the Naval Academy. I served as a fighter pilot in the Navy for multiple deployments across 15 years, some of them in combat areas, a lot of responsibility. I ended up in Fallon as an instructor training naval aircrew how to plan, brief, execute, and survive combat operations, much like we're seeing over in the theater today. Every one of those missions are the same type of missions that I was involved in instructing. Newer technology, not the same crews that I taught, but understand what they're going through. And I'm going to pause here for 1 second and let you folks know our role here in Nevada, whether it comes to national defense, is significant. We have many major installations in this state with NES Fallon, Nellis Air Force Base, Creech Air Force Base, all of which have contributed to every air crew that's serving in theater. So that's a responsibility that we have. I got to get going here. I got 2 minutes. You didn't get the $100? Can I keep going? Okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a politician. So my first number one priority is one thing. It's not a specific issue. It's a mission, and that's to get a strong conservative voice in Congress. We are living history. We have a bold president who's bringing good things to the agenda to fix the country, but we need more strong conservative voices to get a lot of these things across the finish line. So all these issues that we're hearing right now could have been solved if we had more conservatives dealing with the issues. The second thing is fiscal responsibility. That's one issue that's common up here. Every second I speak is another $50,000 to $60,000 going into our national debt. We're going to enslave our future generations with a debt that's unsustainable. The other side of that coin is also the money the fraud that we're seeing every day that's being, funneled through criminal enterprises and corruption. It's egregious. We need accountability in that. Now, as far as the questions go, well, we got a problem here. If by the time I'm in office and that hasn't passed, we have legislative malpractice by our Senate. We don't have enough strong conservative voices to force it across the finish line. We just tried. They tried to attach the Save America Act to the FISA bill, and it didn't pass the Senate. It didn't even make it to the Senate. That is a problem. And as far as Sharia law goes, Muslim religion, freedom of religion, that all works. Sharia law, I don't see the compatibility. It's incompatible. How do you deal with that thing? And I'll kind of follow up on Fred's thing. If you can't handle our laws, then you're welcome to leave. Get out. So, Mike Smith for Nevada.com. I appreciate you taking a look at the website. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next candidate is Sherman Tylowski.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sherman Tylowski. I am running for CD2. Now, you're probably seeing me and you're thinking I'm way too young to run. But just because I'm young doesn't mean I don't have experience. I want to tell you about 3 key words about our campaign. The first is I'm a young conservative. Young is a very key word here. We need to help build a future for conservatism here in Nevada. The second is dedicated. I've had the opportunity to serve in all kinds of different capacities in public service. I'm very proud to say that I had the opportunity to intern for 2 senior members of Congress. And so even though I'm young, I do have experience. We need somebody who understands the system, understands how a congressional office operates, and knows how to put constituents first. The last part is responsible. I believe it's important to be responsible for your values. One of my great heroes is George Washington. I believe that we need to bring a lot of his principles back to our nation's capital. Values like patriotism, like fiscal responsibility, and faith. President George H.W. Bush once said, "Public service is a noble calling." I'm here to step up to the plate and to offer my ability to be able to serve you all here in CD2. My 2 main priorities, the first is we need to be more economic competitive, be able to draw people from other parts of the country, other parts of the world, to be able to contribute and to build their lives here in CD2. The second issue is on national security. We have really great sectors that are just getting started. We need to ensure that those industries like mining, like technology, like cyber, and all those are ensuring that they're contributing to our nation's security. On the first question here, as brought up by several of these candidates here, I support proof of citizenship and photo ID as a principle. But I also think the federal government needs to be able to ensure that every single state is running elections securely and fairly. It's important that we all work together as one nation to ensure that not just that people need to have that proof of citizenship and photo ID, but we need to be able to keep all threats, whether it be cyber threats, threats to our election security from domestic or outside, and keep our elections safe. The second issue on Sharia law, I think the Constitution makes it pretty clear that no one is above the law and no one is above the Constitution. I just want to briefly say that as someone who has a father who is Christian and a mother who is Buddhist, I think it's appropriate to share that here in this place of worship. It's important that we emphasize that faith is not just a tribal group, but that it is an opportunity for all faiths to be able to be part of our larger nation and our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our final candidate running in the primary for Congressional District Nevada number 2 is Jesse Watts.
Can everybody hear me? Beautiful, because I hate podiums. My name is Jesse Watts, and I'm your candidate for Congressional District 2. Right here, we're recording. You need to be on the mic. Put me in my place.
Gotcha.
Can I do this? So, I'm running for Congressional District 2 to be your voice in Washington. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm the retired sheriff of Eureka County, and I'm a proven fighter for Northern Nevada. My children are 19, 17, 11, my bonus daughter is 6 years old, and that's why I'm running. Because I know that if I don't run now, they will not have a place to stand when they're able to. I am a proven fighter for Northern Nevada. In 2019, when Governor Sisolak started doing the gun bills and the gun grabs of the universal background checks and the red flag laws, I was the first sheriff in the state to stand up and say, you're not doing that. Ultimately, we took 9 sheriffs out of the 17 of us, and we took them to Supreme Court, and we won. 2020, when COVID happened and the lockdowns, I'm from Eureka County. We're socially distanced by design. 4,180 square miles, 2,000 people. I don't need you to tell me how to socially distance. We stood up and said no. When people wanted to sit there and say we couldn't have church, I said BS. When people wanted to say you can't have Christmas parties, I said BS. We, the people of the United States, manage the government doesn't manage us. The first 2 priorities I have is protect and defend our God-given constitutional rights. Period, point made. No matter the law, if it does not conform with the Constitution, it needs to go straight in the trash. Second is to make sure that the infrastructure of our state is secure for our future. And that is making sure we have water, making sure we have energy, making sure that the roadways and the communities are sustainable for the growth that is coming. Because no matter what, every person in this room can stand up and say it, the growth's coming whether we want it or not. About these 2 questions, very simple. The Save America Act, just like Mike said, if it's not passed by the time I get in there, we got a problem. There will be a single-purpose bill that I will help with to make sure that it's a single purpose, to get the Save America Act passed, to cut the crap out of the law, because that's the problem. It's not the citizenship and the ID, it's all the other junk that gets put in there. Syria law. We are a country that is built on the rule of law. And the rule of law comes from we, the people of the United States. It's not we, the people of the world, get to come here and put it how we want. It's we, the people of the United States. And that's where we'll stand in Congress. JesseForNevada.com, JesseWattsForCongress.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have one more candidate on this panel, and this candidate is running for Nevada Secretary of State. Among other things, the Office of Secretary of State is responsible for Nevada's elections and for business and business licensing. We ask that you include in your introductory remarks your top 2 priorities if elected, and also why you would be the best candidate for the voters here tonight. Question 1 for the Nevada Secretary of State is, election integrity has been called into question for nearly 3 decades now, beginning with the famed hanging Chads issue and the Supreme Court case of 2000. Aside from action by the Nevada legislature, what can be done by the Secretary of State to improve election integrity and ensure fair elections and trustworthy results? The second question to address is that some states are cultivating significant business growth while others are not. What is something you could do as Secretary of State to improve the business climate in Nevada, and specifically, how could you facilitate small business entrepreneurship? I'd like to bring up candidate Sharon Engel.
How do I get this? I tell you what. How about that? I'm Sharon Engel, running for Secretary of State. My website is votesharonengel.com, and I want you to vote for me. I moved to the state when I was 3 years old, graduated from Washoe County Schools in the University of Nevada, Reno, married my husband. We went out to Ely for 3 years. We went to Vail, Oregon for 2. While I was there, I asked Jesus to be my personal Savior. We moved back into Nevada, Winnemucca for 11 years, and out to Tonopah for 8 years. There in Tonopah, I served on the school board for a term. We moved back into Reno, where I was elected to the state legislature for 4 terms. During that time, I passed the most freedom-focused homeschooling bill in the whole United States right here in Nevada. You'll know me next for running against Harry Reid in 2010. And the most asked question that I had in 2010 was, did Harry Reid steal the election? The answer to that question is in my book, Right Angle, One Woman's Journey to Restore the Constitution, on page 122. That is the thing that got me involved in election integrity, the answer to that question. And for the next 15 years, I was involved in court cases, in investigations, in finding out what was really going on with our elections and why people were losing their confidence in elections here in the United States and Nevada. That's what makes me want to run to be your Secretary of State. I want to make sure that we have a fair and honest vote here in Nevada, and I will make you 3 promises. The first one is that I will enforce and implement voter ID. You pass it, I will enforce it just the way it's written. The second promise is that I will reduce the business license fee here in Nevada by introducing a bill that will do that. I think I can get that passed because as a legislator, I was able to do that kind of thing. And the third one is that I will ask the legislature to repeal the automatic voter registration rule. As far as the 2 questions go, the first one is, you pass that voter ID, we will have more secure elections. That's the first thing that I can do, is just enforce the law. If we would go by our election day, which is in our Constitution, that would go a long way to once more having secure elections, enforce the law. The second question, I can't remember, Jim.
About improving the business climate for small businesses and entrepreneurship.
Well, of course, reducing the business license tax would be a good one, but just myself, as your Secretary of State, I can do something about that website. It's a problem. No one knows how to navigate it. It should be intuitive and easy to navigate, and so I can do that on day 1. I'm Sharon Engel, running for Secretary of State. Vote SharonEngel.com, and I want you to vote for me.
Thank you very much. We do have a few more questions, and these are not time for any nuance or explanation. It's just a quick yes or no. For everybody at once, President Trump has declared this May 17th, 11 days from now, to be a day of dedication of America as one nation under God. Do you support this declaration, and do you plan to participate in any way? A raise of hands for you support this declaration. And any opposed? Thank you very much. Next question is, do you believe the recent military action in Iran is justified. Hands up for yes. And now hands for no. Thank you very much. Third and last of these bonus questions. Do you support the president's use of tariffs to reduce trade deficits and boost United States industry? Hands up for yes. And hands for no. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all these candidates here. We're going to do a little rapid exchange of candidates. These candidates are welcome to sit in seats in the front row that are going to be vacated by the next set of candidates coming up right now. Thank you. All right, our next set of candidates for Nevada Assembly, Lyon County Commissioners, and Lyon County School Board. Would you join me up here on the podium? Welcome to the stage. I'll introduce the candidates as they're asked to come up and answer the questions. The questions are being handed to the candidates right now. Is that the question about the rocket science and propulsion? Or did we forget the one about neurosurgery and separating conjoined twins? I think we got the right questions. Those questions that I'm about to ask verbally are also on the podium for you to refer to as you step up to the podium. Next, we have candidates seeking to represent Nevada Assembly District 39. There are no Democrats in this primary ballot because the one candidate running will be on the ballot in November, running against the winner of this Republican primary. We ask that each candidate include in their introductory remarks their top 2 priorities and reasons why you would be the best choice for the voters. The first specific question is, voters will be considering question 6 in November, which would change Nevada's constitution to allow abortion up until birth, eliminate requirements for doctors, eliminate requirements for hospitals, remove parental notification, and prohibit any future regulations, even for safety and sanitation. What is your position on question 6, and what do you see happening if this measure were to pass? The second question, a petition is currently being circulated that seeks to protect biological girls and women's sports, locker rooms, and bathrooms by keeping them separate from biological males. Are you in favor or against this proposal, and why? First, I'd like to ask, to answer the questions at the podium, Brianna Cowan.
Thank you. My name is Brianna Cowan. I'm running for State Assembly. I have to tell you, I'm a little relieved. I was worried you weren't going to be able to see me with how short I am tonight. But I appreciate your time for being here and for being so invested. Prior to moving to Nevada, where currently I own a government affairs firm, we work as a watchdog against progressive government overreach. I was a nuclear reactor operator in the Navy for nearly 7 years, where I served in the global war on terror, and am proud to have done so, preserving our constitutional rights. Before that, I was an educator for nearly 10 years, and I taught high school for 3 years in Oregon, and before that in various other places. And I saw the transformative power of education, true education, you know, the math stuff and the reading stuff. And so I believe firmly that we need to put power back into the hands of parents, not into teachers' unions. Parents should be empowered. Parents, the family unit predates government for all of humanity. We need to empower parents to equip them with their child's education and their future. This means radical school choice. This means vouchers, student education accounts, private schools, charter schools, whatever works for families, regardless of what options they choose, without government involvement, right? And that is their right to do so. And that's one of my top priorities. Further, I would say another top priority is safety. We need to back the badge. We need to restrict government's progressive overreach to limit your Second Amendment rights, period. Shall not be infringed is very explicit. And I'm not sure why government continually tries to rewrite our Constitution. Our Second Amendment, safety on the streets, and prioritizing you, the law-abiding citizen, over illegal immigrants that in the state legislature we see progressive pieces of legislation over and over again, trying to make things easier for criminals. And I would have loved to have the Sharia law question because, Fred, that was a great answer. As far as the question 6, every abortion is a tragedy. This amendment compounds that tragedy. Not only does it allow for abortion in any case by any medical provider, but it separates children from their mothers and from their fathers. This is reminiscent of a Maoist revolution. We must stand firm against this. This is a tragedy that compounds another tragedy. If it's passed, it will cause the lives of mothers. This is unconscionable. And as far as boys and girls' sports, I have a 3-year-old son. He knows why he's a boy. He knows he doesn't belong in girls' spaces. We all know the same. Boys get out of girls' spaces, and girls need their rights protected. Brianna Cowan for Nevada Assembly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next in this race is Ken Gray.
Good evening. I'd like to take just a couple of seconds of privilege here, if I may. I want to thank the church and Pastor Gary and all of the people that put this on every election cycle. You guys go out of your way to do this, and it's fantastic. I know you guys get beat up for it, but thank you guys very much. And I'd also like to introduce my junior chief of staff over there. Say hi, Ollie. She actually plays into my answer in one of these. So I'm Ken Gray, running for Assembly District 39. I served you guys, and I think I served you guys well and faithfully for two assembly terms in 2023 and 2025. I am the fighter that you had, the fighter that you need, and the fighter that needs to come back. I am the only one, I think, on this stage that was actually probably in this room that has been trusted by President Trump to work for him and his administration. I loved the job I did, and I loved the people I worked with, but family circumstances did bring me home, and I will tell you, it's been said that my wife asked me to come home. No, she didn't. She supported me the whole time, and I knew I needed to be here at home to protect her and my family. And if you guys want to know the whole story, either go to my Facebook page or ask me. I'll be happy to share it with you. You'll always get the truth out of me no matter what. I raised my family here after retiring from the Air Force. Actually, I did my last few years in the Air Force here. 2 daughters. Again, that'll play into the answer here in a second. They both are living a life of service as well. My oldest, she was in the Navy and met her husband in the Navy. And then my younger daughter, who's actually a Lyon County deputy, thank you, Sheriff Pope. She's also a lieutenant in the Army National Guard. And I love my kids, and I cannot imagine any better place to have raised them than here in this district. Question 1, question 6, there is absolutely no room for that. That is wholesale murder. Abortion is not a tragedy, it is murder. I'm the only one, and you guys, it's gonna catch you by surprise, I'm the only one up here that has actually had pro-life bills passed in this legislature. 2022, we required, it was myself, it was across the aisle work. I don't necessarily have to have something passed in my name. I want to look for the small wins. I worked with Assemblywoman Brown May, who normally we don't agree on anything, but we agreed that parents of children that are potentially going to be born with Down syndrome or other problems had to be counseled that they could have a great quality of life now. They do not have to be counseled to go terminate the pregnancy. And I think that's a win. I pray to God that some of those kids will go on and live happy, productive lives. The next question. Again, I think I'm the only person around that was actually on the stage with Stavros Anthony when he stood up against boys and girls sports. I'll be happy to do it again. My legislative priorities, I'll tell you right off the bat, I've got, and I hate to do it, I couldn't narrow it down to 2, so I went to 3. One of my first bills is going to be introduce a bill that will stop giving illegal aliens Nevada driver's licenses. We cannot tell them, you cannot be here, you should not be here, but hey, we're gonna give you a license. It adds legitimacy where legitimacy should not be added. The next one, and one of the Congress candidates up here touched on it, an energy bill. I want to get away from the solar energy, which we're selling over the state lines anyway, and introduce a bill that's gonna refine fuel here and hopefully get us onto micronuclear. And then I've also got one that's going to be another pro-life bill. Why? Because I'm the fighter. I don't care if I'm standing alone. I will fight on your behalf for what is right, not what's expedient and easy.
Thank you very much. Next, we're switching offices to the office of Lyon County Board of Commissioners. We have 2 seats up for election here, and with representatives running for those offices tonight. We'd like you to talk about your top 2 priorities and why you'd be the best choice for voters. The 2 specific questions for all of these candidates are, number 1, Lyon County has seen significant growth in population in recent years. Acknowledging the need to respect private property rights, what is your vision for Lyon County to manage this growth and what initiatives might you have to propose? The second question is, Nevada, including Lyon County, has a large number of applications for industrial development such as solar energy, battery energy storage, and data center projects. What have you done to prepare yourself regarding the benefits and the risks associated with these sorts of projects to make sound decisions about these complex issues? First, we have candidate Scott Keller.
Hello, I'm Scott Keller. I'm your current county commissioner for District 2. I'm the only incumbent that's going to be running, or you'll hear from today. I was born and raised here in Nevada, lived here my whole life, same as my father. We've been here as a family for a long time. That doesn't give me any privilege. It just tells you that I know what the history is of Nevada. I served on my advisory board for 15 years as the chair. I served on the Parks Board for 14 years as the chair. Then I became a county commissioner. When I came before you before, I said I thought I had the most experience for this job. Now I know I do. Since being on the county commission, I've been elected to the Nevada Association of Counties Board. On their executive board for right now, I'm the current vice president. Next year I'll be the president-elect. Next year after that I'll be the president and then past president. That is where we come together as a community of all counties at the legislature to help stop bad laws, put good laws in, and that's our voice. On the national level, I sit on what's called Agricultural and Rural Affairs Steering Committee, and I also sit on the RAC, which is the Rural Action Caucus. That's one of the most powerful caucuses in the United States. Out of 3,069 counties in the United States, 80% of them are rural. On that caucus, I am the vice president of that caucus. It was a presidential appointment. I think I've done quite a bit since I got into office, and as far as my vision for the future, keep doing what I'm doing and trying to do what you guys have asked me to do, and I'll keep working hard to get that done. As far as some of these questions, let me get right to them. What have I been doing for growth, managing growth, and personal property rights? One of the things that we have to work on the most is probably infrastructure. That's why I go to Washington, D.C. I go to my department heads, find out what the problems are, what we need, stuff that isn't on our budget, something I can go and solve before it becomes on our budget, like our sewer, our water, our roads. And I go to Washington, D.C. and acquire the funding that we need. Last year I got $3.4 million. The year before that. This year I'm applying for $6.7 million. Got to talk quicker. As far as data centers, I sit on what's called the Rural Energy Academy on the national level, and I'm almost done with that. NACO put that together. I think only 15 counties are involved in that throughout the nation, and I'm working forward to bringing that kind of solutions that we're working on nationwide to our area. Each thing is going to have a different solution. Either it's on private or BLM, so forth. Again, Scott Keller, Lyon County Commissioner, District 2.
Thank you very much. Next, we have candidate Davy Sticks.
Good evening, Dayton. It is so good to be here, and thanks again for having this forum. My name's Davy Sticks. I'm running for Lyon County Commissioner, District 2. I'm from Fernley, and I represent parts of Fernley and parts of Silver Springs. That's my district. I represent all of you. I'm a proud second-generation rancher raising beef. I'm a proud Catholic, and I do not believe in everything the Pope says, and I don't mean this Pope right here in the front row. Hey, my two top priorities are growth and spending in the budget. We need to allow growth to pay for itself. I come here with experience from the city of Fernley as the first mayor from 2001 to 2006, and we made growth pay for itself. I have experience in the good things that we did, and we did some things that weren't very good. The next thing is with our budget. As a true conservative and a Republican, I want to pay special attention to our spending and also on deregulation. Do you know that one of the problems with growth in Lyon County is the fact that the government gets in the way of that growth? We've got people trying to get permits that are taking 6 months to a year to get a permit. These people are willing to bring the money and invest it into our communities, but what they can't stand is to have it prolonged. That's not fit into their budget. And they're leaving left and right. Acknowledge the need of respect of private property rights. The Constitution should always be at the center of our minds when we're dealing with growth. We've seen a large number of applications we have. These data centers are coming to our area. This is a agency has to be involved in all of this. The state of Nevada, including the EPA, the state water engineer that regulates the water that's going to be used for these data centers. And folks, as a rancher, I have a place in Yerington. It's a BLM permit. It's going to be completely wiped out by solar panels, okay? But I got to tell you, friends, I got to tell you something. We have allowed subsidies and allowed so much solar over the past 3 decades that, you know what? They're a part of our grid. They're a part of our power structure, and you just can't yank them away. I'm telling you, I've been involved in the Cattlemen's Association with solar, and they're embedded. Our rates would be higher if it wasn't for having the solar around here. And to tell you what, I think it's a blight on our communities, and it's a blight on the grazing. Again, everybody, my name's Davey Sticks, Commissioner District 2, and I would like your vote, and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much. Right now we have 4 candidates available seeking the office for District 5 for the Lyon County Board of Commissioners. We'll be using the same questions as we just used for those seeking District 2. I apparently need like a Vanna White to turn pages, but did it. First up, seeking that seat is Mark Jones.
Thank you very much. I currently sit as your Vice Chairman of the Lyon County Planning Commission. We've been working on these projects for years, and so it's not our first rodeo. Planning Commission usually previews those, and then we send our recommendation up to the commissioners. This is not an on-the-job training time right now. We are the fastest growing county in the state of Nevada, by far. We're growing fast. We have all this power and all these big industries coming in here, and we need to make the right decisions when we're ruling on them. As a planning commission, I check my emotions at the door when we walk in. We rule on findings and the law so that it's consistent when people are coming in here. Right now, we're not a business-friendly county. We have to be. It's a big risk for businesses to come into a rural area and try to put a business in here. And I'm trying to get right now, I've had a company out of Canada said they would write a program for us to do our plan checking with AI so we could actually get a permit out in 2 or 3 days. That's a business-friendly type of thing. We need to look for reasons on how to make things work instead of not work. I think that we are a Dillon state. There's a lot of laws we can't change. We have to go with those laws because in a Dillon state, the state makes the laws. And so we're restricted in a lot of things we can do. I think our biggest problem in this county is we don't educate the people on what's going on. And the people don't take the time to educate themselves either. They don't understand what a data center takes. Right now, a data center, a campus takes about 5.5 acre-feet of water. It's always regenerated. The solar panels, they take up a lot of space. They don't take a lot of water. So the state has enough water if they would just capture it, build some more reservoirs. We can do that. I'm a big pro-farmer guy. I believe in the farmers, but the farmers are struggling. They're selling their water to the Conservancy, so we're losing all of our water in this valley. And once it goes to the Conservancy, it doesn't come back. As far as kids, the boys and girls in school, I can't even believe we're having this conversation. We have to have this conversation. I mean, it's just not natural for boys to go against girls and girls like that. It's just wrong. A lot of women think it's none of my business because I'm not giving babies, but they are our children, you know, and I think we need to get back to being a more religious organization talking about God and starting to get back to our conservative values. I've been very active in the Conservative Party for years. I have the experience needed to step in day one and sit in that chair because we've been doing the work. So I would like your vote. You can go to Jones for Lyon 5 and look at our platforms and what we want to do for this county. I think we can make it right. Thank you.
Our next candidate for Lyon County Commissioner District 5 is Mark Phillips. Oh, wait. I've got Mark Phillips. Cool. Is Cole Mortensen.
I admit Mark's better looking. First off, I'd like to echo a lot of the sentiment that you've heard already. It's exciting to see a room full of people like this. You guys are the ones that make a difference. You're all the people that vote. And it's great to have the opportunity to get up in front of you to speak. My background, a little bit about me. I'm a fourth generation Nevadan on one side, a fifth generation on the other. I'm a lifelong resident of Lyon County. Grew up in Fernley. In 2019, my wife and our family moved to Smith Valley. I love it out there, but I think that kind of rolling into the questions and what we're supposed to be talking about here, I think the top two priorities for me is fiscal responsibility and fiscal accountability. And there are a lot of different things that go along with that. Over time, we kind of have to try to work on fixing our tax structure. Everybody dislikes taxes because you view it as not being able to spend that money on stuff that you like, but unfortunately it's stuff that you need. But we'd all be more comfortable if we understood that those tax dollars were actually going to those things that we do need in our communities. And Lyon County isn't alone in being underfunded at this point in time. Now, kind of moving on from that, along with that is the idea that we need to do more strategic planning and how we manage the inevitable growth that we're seeing. And that comes from not only affordable housing, which I would argue isn't that affordable if you have to drive 45 minutes to get to your job, but Dayton, Fernley, they're classic examples of becoming a bedroom community for larger areas. So the industry that's making tax revenue for counties is actually outside of our county. And what Lyon County gets stuck with are a lot of the residential developments, which actually end up costing the county more because you have to have emergency medical services, first responders, infrastructure. And so that all kind of ties into the next question, which is acknowledging the need to respect private property rights and the vision for growth. As I mentioned, the time that I've spent living here, I've watched a lot of the fields that used to grow grass and alfalfa start growing houses. And that comes with its own set of properties, but people have the right to do with their property what it's been entitled to do, and there are certain things that the county commission can do that actually puts the county at risk if they're not careful with those property rights. The second question on solar energy, battery storage, and data centers. Unfortunately, we're in a situation in Nevada where we have so many days of sunshine. We have the fiber optic loop coming through from the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to San Francisco, to LA, to Las Vegas and back up. It's the perfect spot to put these facilities. The problem is that these facilities do bring with them other issues. I think that some of the things that really need to be addressed as these go is the environmental impacts and the community impacts. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm out of time. Cole Mortensen for County Commissioner, District 5.
Thank you very much, Cole Mortensen. Next candidate for County Commissioner for District 5 is really this time Mark Phillips.
Mark Phillips, running for County Commissioner, District 5. So a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure my fellow candidates, which one's District 5? District 5 is the South County. Districts are broke up by population, not by geography. And if you look at it on a map, District 5 is like twice the size of the other 4 districts combined. So those of us here for District 5 are truly rural. I recently retired after 40 years in ag business and spent my career calling on farms, ranches, that type of thing, and mostly in a customer service application where my job was to go out in the field, visit with the customers, the clients, the farmers, the ranchers, find out what their needs were, and find a solution. I know a lot of people may think that farming's pretty simple. You dig a hole in the ground, put a seed in it, add water, and magic, boom, there it is. But it varies. So everybody's needs are different. One of the things that on my website, on the back of my business cards, you'll see a diagram of an intersection. It comes from a seminar I was at some years ago where the speaker was talking about perspectives and said, just picture this, that there's an accident at an intersection. And when law enforcement shows up, they come in and start asking people for stories of what happened. And the people on different corners give different stories, even though they saw the same thing. So that has been something I've tried to stick with for my entire life. There's always more than one way to look at a situation, and we need to keep that in mind. Sorry, time's going faster. I gotta hurry. Sorry. What's driving me is to secure the future for our county and our population. I recently had my son and daughter-in-law, future daughter-in-law, coming in October, looking for a place to live, and they had to go to Douglas County to get a house. So that's one of the things that's driven me. I've watched people try to start a new business, and they spend forever going through the processes. Got 30 seconds, got to hurry. Property rights, we need to stick with that. Zoning is there for a reason. Code enforcement is there for a reason. We need to run with those. Industrial development, a lot of these big solar projects and things like that, I think are big short-term income for us. But to secure the future for our kids and families, we need businesses that are going to be here long-term. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next candidate for Lyon County Commissioner, District 5, Micah Triplett.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening. My name is Micah Triplett. I am also running for County Commissioner in District 5. Having been born and raised in Yerington at South Lyon Medical Center, I'm intimately familiar with our county's demographic, specifically in the southern part where I'm running. But I'm going to jump right into the questions. It asks us to talk about our top two priorities. My first priority is recognizing that this county has very diverse economic differences between the south part of the county, the central part of the county, the west, east, and north parts of the county. And my mission as a commissioner is to find ways to eradicate the silos that separate our communities. You see, a measurable mark for me would say we can take our individual communities and vie over grant money, vie over PILTC money, or we can become a force of mass and magnitude and actually go to the assembly with a common mission and vision. We can look at each community's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and there's measurable ways for us to develop an interlocal agreement to have a community-wide impact study where we can actually monitor these practices coming in, these large projects coming in, and have impact fees in a ready-to-go format, and we could actually have a laundry list ready to go. The thing that I want to see, if my background in the fire service tells me if it's predictable, it's preventable. And that is a long-standing tradition. We want to stop fires before they start. And I'm going to lead into the next top priority for me, which would be public safety. My background does separate me, and I've heard a lot of people in the past tell me, well, you shouldn't focus so much on your background in the fire service, but it's really relevant. Having a background in the fire service gave me training in hazardous materials technician. I'm a specialist. I had first-in responses on large acid leaks. I know exactly what kind of risks are associated with lithium-ion batteries. I know exactly how we should have distances set up for international fire code. And my background in planning and prevention is very strong and very pertinent to helping us move forward in a smart and planned fashion. Acknowledging the need to respect private property rights. I'm going to echo what Mark Jones said. We are a Dillon state. We're not home rule. But that does not mean we cannot find effective ways to make sure that projects come in respectful to the communities. We do have zoning for a reason, and we do have opportunities, though, at the same time that need to be respected. When it comes to water rights, NRS 533 and 534 are very clearly protective of our water. Nevada is one of the most litigated places on water because we're the most scarce, arid environment for that. So making sure that our laws are written to protect water is very important. And what have I done to prepare myself regarding the benefits, risks associated with the sorts of projects that make sound decisions about these complex issues? Like I said, I've been studying data centers for a long time. I've written full thesis statements on those in solar fields because I'm a recent graduate with a financial economics degree that specifically focused in on AI generations and also allowed me to look at my own applications for development so that I could coordinate our communities to be more common mission and vision and more focused as a group, because when we bring things together, we bring force and magnitude that can actually make change at the state level. My name is Micah Triplett. I look forward to your vote.
Thank you very much. Our final set of speakers are in the race for Lyon County School Board. We ask that each candidate address their top 2 priorities and describe why you would make the best choice for voters. Question number 1, specific to the school board candidates, are: the security of schools continues to be a growing issue across the country. In Lyon County, single point entry is currently being implemented to protect students and staff from outside threats. Beyond those improvements, what measures would you champion to enhance safety and security from dangers on campus and in the classroom? Second question is, many school districts believe that what they do with our children on campus is solely up to school employees, and sometimes even promote lying to parents. Do you believe that parents are the ultimate determiner of what goes on with their children? And what would you do to improve transparency and communication with parents and the public about what is happening at schools? First for this seat, Pete Chapin.
Well, thank you for holding this event. I'm Pete Chapin. I'm running for Lyon County School Board Trustee District 2, which is in Fernley. So I spent my whole professional career as an educator. I was a coach, a teacher, a site administrator, and a district office administrator. My family are all educators. My mother was an educator. My brother's an educator. My wife's an educator. My son's an educator. My daughter's an educator. My nephew's an educator. So my first priority is, if I'm elected, is student achievement. Let's just put all this in a nutshell. We're not doing so good right now. However, as an administrator, one of my schools was recognized as a nationally recognized distinguished school for high performing. Another school was high achieving. Another school was a 5-star school. I never was an administrator at a school that was in needs of improvement. So I think I know a little bit about what it takes to improve student achievement. My other priority is budgets. Of course, we are going into a 2-year cycle of we're going to lose some money from the state and other places, so we're hitting a budget crisis. My goal on a budget is to keep our frontline folks in the school. They are the ones affecting student achievement. That's teachers, aides, custodians. Those folks are the ones that promote student achievement. So the single point entry is a nice idea for safety. I got another idea for enhancing safety and security, and it's in the classroom. And this has been tried. I know a principal where they put cameras in the classroom. Well, it really improved things because now we know what students are doing. They can't tell us or their parents that that didn't happen, or teachers. They can't tell us that they didn't do that, those type of things. It really improved the atmosphere at his school, and parents seem to really like that. When you tell them, I've got it on video, and I'll show it to you if I can. The other thing is, improving transparency in schools. Well, I believe parental determination in their students' education is paramount. I don't believe in woke indoctrination. You want to improve transparency, do this. Kid goes to the nurse, call the parent. Kid goes to the office for discipline, call the parent. Kid goes to the counselor, and I don't believe in this counselor confidentiality student thing. Call the parent. Grades, good grades, bad grades. Let's call the parent. Let's let them know that their kids are doing a good job or they need to do more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The second candidate we have here tonight running for District 2 is Michael Moore.
Thank you for all coming tonight. Shows you have a lot of care about your community. I do too, so it's nice to see you all show up. It's probably your favorite thing on a Wednesday night, come down to listen to a bunch of old politicians talk. So thank you for all showing up. I am too a candidate for school board trustee. Oh, I was wondering if you were waving at me. Tell me. Thank you. I'd like to tell you a little about myself. I'm here with my lovely wife. She's been my rock for 20 years. It helps when you have someone to help you. She's been my rock for 20 years, plus my dog Mocha. That's my other rock. So between the two, I've been very lucky. Okay. So a little about me. I've spent 24 years as a real estate land developer. We do about 400 to 600 units a year. I was middle management, so as far as the school board and the administrative, I've done budgets, $1 million budgets, spreadsheets, employees. That's kind of what you do in management. What I think is really similar to what I would be doing as a trustee on the board. You're not just voting for me, you're voting for me as one person as a team. So we all make the team decisions together. It's not just me deciding what happens. So as far as the two questions they've given us, it's kind of my two platforms automatically, but the one about the kids, I don't think, who would even write this question? I'll be honest with you. Is it important that our kids get not? I don't know how anybody would even say that. A parent and a student, there is nothing that any closer. If my kid falls at school, I want a phone call, okay? If my kid's being bullied, I want a phone call. The transparency of what we're getting today is not working. We need direct contact from the administrator, the school, the principal, to the parent. And if that's lacking, then that needs to change. We need to step that up really soon. As far as single entry, that needs to be finished ASAP. I had a direct contact with an incident up in LA, I won't tell you, but direct contact, riding right into the campus with open campus is wrong. They say that it's working on, it should have already been completed. We shouldn't be talking about this. The button, the cameras, limiting someone onto campus after the kids are in class and the school is closed, every campus should be like that already, okay? So hopefully we can step that up. And I think, honestly, if we can get the closed campus, the only thing we can do to help security on campus is more security on campus. Right now, if we have an incident, we have to call someone, they have to come to the school and investigate it. I think we need someone on each campus for each school, so if there's an incident that's happened, it's being handled right then, not through the cameras and not 30 minutes or an hour later when the parents get called. So my name's Michael Moore. I'm looking for your vote. I'd really like to get on campus and make some changes. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We have one candidate for District 4. That is Tom Hendricks.
Thank you all for coming out tonight, giving up your evening for us. My name's Tom Hendricks. I currently serve as the Lyon County School Board President. The two things that I would like to be my top priorities would be transparency and accountability in our district. We have this year and last year come forward with data-driven measurable goals for our district, which we did not have before. Those are very important. Those are around the grades that the kids are getting and the typical growth that we see through our MAP tests, which are done 3 times a year. So when we see those, we can go ahead and make adjustments, hopefully mid-year if necessary, to meet our ultimate goals. One of the other goals is absenteeism. We want to get these kids into school because if we can't get them in the classroom, we can't teach them. So that's very important. Looking at question number 1, security in schools. So all of you that know me know that from my very first meeting, I pushed for single point entry in the 4 high schools that did not have that in our district. I was not successful for a number of years getting a board majority to agree with that, but when we hired a facility management company to look at our buildings and what we were going to use our classrooms for, the number one thing they came back with was we need single point entry. So at that point, I was able to get the board majority to get that passed. So very happy that we're going to have that implemented in our district during this summer session. That includes all 4 of the remaining high schools. Number 2, so parents. I knocked on thousands of doors in my first election. The first thing I said when they opened the door was, parents have the ultimate authority over decisions that involve their children. I meant it then and I mean it now. Parents have that authority, and they are the final word on what happens with their children. So I hope that we can have Zoom meetings, Zoom access for all people in our district at our Zoom meetings, so we can have parents come to our meetings, sitting in their living rooms, and voice their concerns. So again, I need 1 vote. I hope I have everyone in this room voting for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Hendricks. We're a little over schedule. We're going to forego the rapid fire questions for this round of candidates, but I will want to add a little point of information about elections in districts in Lyon County. We've seen commissioners running for certain district seats and school board seats. They're divided up by district. And while the person elected to that position needs to be from that district, the whole county votes on all the districts. So a district might be in Yerington, it might be in Fernley, and yet everyone in Dayton is called upon to vote for candidates for all those districts. So regardless of which district it is in the Lyon County Board of Commissioners or which district it is in the Lyon County School Board, everybody in the county gets a vote. With that, I'd like to thank the candidates and the voters for appearing here tonight, and reintroduce Pastor Gary for closing.
And I'm not late this time.
Yes, but one other thing is that after this time here, most of the candidates will also be available back in the fellowship hall. You might have follow-up questions. You might want to tell them what they need to do. Or ask them a question. Fellowship hall for the next little while is where we'll be.
All right. Guys, this is exactly how this is supposed to go. And I want you to know that it took a lot of effort and a lot of energy to wrangle and herd these cats and get them in here tonight. And so I want to say a special thanks to all of those that shared in that responsibility, the community impact team, as well as those that have contributed, as well as the candidates. So if you guys would stand, all the candidates, would you stand? We want to say thank you so much. And if I can have you stand, I just want to speak one final blessing over the group. So if you guys would stand with me, everybody. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance and grant you peace. Go in peace tonight, all right? Enjoy the opportunity to be able to continue to meet and greet with the candidates as they'll be back in the fellowship hall. I'm going to ask everybody to just kind of sit tight for a minute and let them make their way back there first. Once they clear the room, then you guys can go ahead and join in. Gentlemen?
Thank you.